50 Cent reacts to Dame Dash suing his old buddy Cameron. Let's talk about it. This is Fresh Hiphop Opinion with your guy Oleezeh. Don't forget to subscribe. So 50 Cent has reacted to the news. Shocking news. Unbelievable news that Dame Dash, the Harlem legend, former Rockefeller CEO, is suing his old buddy, his little bro, Killer Cam. These two have been going back and forth for maybe a few months online over several different topics. But in my opinion, Dame's upset that Cam mentioned that he isn't doing very well financially on one of his interviews. Well, I think it was one of his shows, Talk with Flea. And Dame didn't like that because he felt like Cam is his little brother. He shouldn't be supporting the narrative that the mainstream are pushing. Even though we are seeing the news, Dame, you're owing a lot of money in taxes and lawsuits. Where the online back and forth escalated to the point where Dame Dash put this out on his social media saying he was suing Killer Cam for $300 million for defamation and a whole bunch of other things, including reputational damage to his family and making false claims about Dame, including calling him a liar. We all know Cam, when he's talking, he has no filter. He doesn't say allegedly. He doesn't protect himself legally like that at all. So he just says what he wants to say. And it could be true, but when you're saying something publicly about someone public, that could be defamatory. And like I said, 50 Cent has reacted. He posted this on Instagram, a picture of him avoiding a call. And he said this in the caption: "That's Dame. Tell him I'm not available, and I'm not gonna be available till he straightens this ish out with Cam." And 50 and Dame have had their own back and forths in recent times. 50 again talking about Dame's finances, the Dame challenging 50 to a network battle. Your movie for my movie, your TV show for my TV show. And 50 was never going to take up that challenge, of course, but that's when Dame's teeth fell out and the whole challenge kind of went out the window and everyone's just laughing at Dame. And of course this comes not long after Cam and 50 announced that they will executive produce, paid in full, the TV series, a collaborative effort, in which Dame of course started hating and congratulated Cam for making 50 Cent his boss.
Just made a post, major announcement. I want to congratulate him for making 50 his new boss. So congratulations, Cam. 50 is now your new boss and you're proud of it. Congratulations, man.
Which I don't believe would be the case anyway. Cam would not be under 50 Cent. Pause. But after 50's post, Cam reacted to it. He posted this on his IG, a picture of 50 and Cam laughing hysterically after their beef in 07. And Cam put this in the caption, a bunch of emojis, laughing, and a hand over her face. It just lets you know that Cam is not taking this seriously at all, even though Dame said he's not laughing. I still can't quite believe this is all happening between Dame and Cameron. Always been cool, Cam's always shown mad respect to Dame, but it does seem that Dame has always harbored these bad feelings towards Cam. I think the fact that Cam dissed Dame's Honor Up movie, said it was like basically trash, and such a public platform, is what really pushed Dame way over the edge. For his friend to be publicly bashing his film, his art as Dame calls it, it just made Dame lose it to the point where he tried to expose Cam for everything. Said Cam got punched in the face. Cam started crying when finding out that Dame had a lot of weight in the car. And you know what I mean when I say weight. Back in the day, this is before they were famous. Just overall saying that Cam is sensitive and disloyal. That's why it's kind of weird that Dame even came out with this defamation case, because Dame's been saying just as bad things as Cam has. Just because Cam's platform is bigger than Dame's doesn't make it any different. As much as I said the point that Cam never says allegedly when he says these claims, to my knowledge, Dame doesn't really say that much as well, especially not when he's speaking about Cam. I've heard Dame cautiously saying allegedly when it comes to his legal issues with that guy Chris Brown and Brooks, all that legal stuff that he has been sued for defamation. But with Cam, I don't think he's ever said allegedly, so Cam could easily just countersuit, but I doubt he's gonna really do that. Some people feel like this is an open shut case, like Dame's not gonna get anything from this, and I would say so too, but if you really think about what Cam's been saying about Dame, they are things that can affect your reputation. As much as there's freedom of speech there are certain things you're saying that can affect somebody's pockets. Of course, I want it to be dismissed. I don't even really believe this is really going to court, because what Dame posted wasn't an official document that he submitted. Although he has threatened to sue Joe Budden and Charlemagne, I can't imagine the person he's actually gonna sue would be Killer Cam. But one thing I'll say, the difference between what Joe Budden has said about Dame, and he hasn't said anything too bad about Dame anyway, he was just aggressive when speaking about Dame. And the same thing with people like 50 and even Charlemagne, is that none of them spoke about Dame's son Boogie. And if you don't know, Cam has said a few times, I've said it in a previous episode, Cam pretty much exposed that Dame's son had alcohol issues, when most people probably didn't even know that.
Larry let Boogie, Dame's son, live with him for 5 years. He lived with him. When Dame, you ain't have nowhere for him to stay or whatever, I don't know what the situation is. If that man lets your son live with him for 5 years as a grown man, you should never have no problem with him. When you wrong, bro. It ain't about nothing else but being wrong, man. And you've never been wrong. I've never heard you say you're wrong. I heard you say you're wrong a couple times because it was a benefit for you, but you can't admit when you're wrong. So for you trying to come at Larry, I just don't feel that's right. The man let your son live with him for 5 years. Larry found a place for Boogie to live when he's getting on his own. Dame called and says, yo, you know my son's an alcoholic. Why would you find an apartment with a bar in the lobby to let him live in there? Yo, Dame, how about come get your own son?
And then Cam's guy Larry tried to offer Dame's son $2,500 to do an interview. And even Cam on his latest episode of Talk with Flea admitted maybe the timing wasn't right to do that. And Dame obviously didn't react very well and took it that Cam was trying to divide Dame from his son. Because I believe Dame doesn't have the best of relationships with his son. That's what I heard. But where will this go, people? Will this actually go to court? I really don't believe so. But we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think so. I think Dame's just trying to go viral again. I think he's hooked to their attention. But I hope it don't go to court anyway. But I want to know your opinion. Get in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And for a few dollars a month, you could become a member of the channel. Exclusive content. This is Fresh Hiphop Opinion. Peace and love.